Hello everybody, welcome to another Christmas watercolor tutorial. We are painting a Christmas card today with lovely mistletoe hanging down. So you can grab your paintbrush and green watercolor, and we're just gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna add actually some lime green to the mix that I already have going here, because I think mistletoe is a little bit lighter than that, but any green will do, as I say in all of my videos. So what we're gonna have is a bow, essentially, with our mistletoe obviously tied in it. So because I have so much green pigment in that other brush, I'm just gonna grab another brush and pick up the red, because I want to paint my bow first, I think, or at least have some sort of rough outline of it. So the way that you can, you can paint your bow in so many ways, but I'm gonna have one, I think it's gonna be open. Like this is gonna remain white. And I'm going to have a nice big center piece like that. And then another one coming from the other side here. I'm adding some black, in which I'm going to blend out, because I love that effect of when you add black to red watercolor. It's really beautiful. I said I was gonna have it open, but I changed my mind. By adding black accents to the edges, it's going to make this bow pop, I hope. I'm happy with that portion, and now I'm just gonna add the little bow stems that float off, whatever you call them, the ends of it. I'm gonna quickly switch brushes to an even smaller one here, just so I can get those little tiny details. I keep saying I'm almost done, and then I keep adding stuff. So I'm just adding those black accents again to the red. I'm almost done with this, and then we'll move on to the fun part. But, you know, because mistletoe is green, having a red bow just adds a really nice complement to the whole thing. So I'm gonna actually stick with this brush, because I want to paint these stems of the mistletoe very fine. I want them to be quite detailed, and I am scared that the bigger brush is just not going to achieve the level of detail I want, or it'll like go onto the bow. So here all I'm doing is painting these chunky lines almost that just extend from the bow a little bit. And this is just going to be the end of the mistletoe. You can use whatever green that you have on hand. Don't fret about that. As I did with the other things, I am adding black. It's just, it adds a really nice contrast to the whole thing. It adds this illusion of shading or a shadow, and it doesn't make it look so 2D. That's why I like to add black or just darker features on things. And here I'm just pulling off the excess color by dipping my paintbrush onto a piece of paper towel. I'm going to go over that to define those individual stems later, but for now we can actually start getting into the mistletoe itself. So I am going to continue using that other brush because it is nice and fine. So I'm going to start extending these stems down, and I'm going to try and spread out this mistletoe. Just in multiple directions here. So just try to get a few stems down. It doesn't have to match the amount that you painted up here. It's just who's gonna count, you know? It's all for decorative purposes. I'm just extending these guys down. And I'm gonna start painting the leaves. So mistletoe seems to have these very slender, long leaves. And it's more of it's a very light green, like not lime green, but it's this very nice color of light green. And if you don't have like a color that's closer to a kiwi or a lime green, you can just take the green that you have and alter it. So using the color wheel, you can look it up online, and it'll tell you, okay, what do I add to this darker green in order to make it more blue or to make it more lime green or something. So intuitively, I think I'd add a little bit of yellow, and then I would add perhaps some white watercolor just to lighten it a little bit. So there are a lot of options that you have. You could, like, there's a reason why we have 3 primary colors. You can use just 3 colors to create every color that you'd possibly want, and then just use black and white to lighten and darken them. I was going to add a Christmas greeting onto this thing, but I'm not sure if there's going to be room. My stove is going to drive me absolutely nuts. I'm just cooking beans, and I put a timer on there to remind me not to forget about them. which I would if not for that timer. But it just keeps going off constantly. And that's because as the beans cook, the water evaporates and I have to add more water. Because back in the day, I wouldn't put a timer and I'd completely forget about it and then come back an hour later to almost a fire in the kitchen. So time to put timers on. So you can just keep going with this, like add as many leaves, branches, whatever as you want. You want it to be nice and thick. Whenever I think of mistletoe, I think of that 90s movie Santa Claus with Tim Allen. When the elves use, oh no, they use tinsel. Oh my gosh, this whole time I thought they used mistletoe to open the jail cell. Wow. And I was like, how do you, I don't understand. But it was tinsel. So I'm just gonna go back up here, like I said earlier, to define these guys. So I just took some green watercolor with very little water and I'm going over and separating some of these stems. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go crazy if this stove keeps going off. I know, I have to go. So yeah, I'm separating these guys to make it look like there are multiple stems. And I'm gonna continue that down here. I almost forgot. We have to add the cute little red berries that make mistletoe what it is. So I'm just gonna go in here and add a couple of these guys. One here, one here, one here. Now those look very sloppy, but that's okay, because my intention was to go over them with a finer brush, make them nice and circular. If I had to only choose 2 brushes, this would be one of them, for sure. My quadruple zero Winsor & Newton. This guy can just achieve details that no other brush can. This is not sponsored. I just love this brush. And it's linked in the description if you want one for yourself. Please use my link. It gets me a little bit of commission every time you do, even if you're not buying the product in the description. If you just click my link and then buy whatever you want on Amazon, it'll still compensate me for it, so that's pretty cool. And I'm just gonna extend the stems of these guys from each berry downwards. I know they're not really attached to anything, but that's okay. Like, you can't really see that, thankfully. Perfect. Okay. Now we're finished. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit like on this video, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.